On the original agenda posted on 10/16 was to set the public hearing date for the comprehensive plan. And then on 10/17, that item was removed. And then a day later on 10/18, item 9 was re-added. And instead, the item is to approve a working schedule. I'm assuming a working schedule means it's not set in stone and can change again, but the working schedule that's in the packet, not yet on the website because it's not approved, pushes the whole process back into early February. So lots of dates have changed, and that seems to be the status of the whole comprehensive plan this time around. When we planned in 2009, we started with a public survey, a mailed public survey, so that when people attended the 2 vision sessions, they had an idea of what was already being asked of them. They had a chance to sit at home or talk to their neighbors about what they felt the city should look like on a piece of paper that they could mail or email in. So they had a chance to think thoroughly about it. This time around, you did not have the chance to even vote on a public survey. It wasn't part of the original long time ago in the beginning of the year, January, timeline. You didn't even get an option to approve a public survey. That's very strange because again, in 2009, that's the way the process started. And gosh golly, even a couple years ago with the park plan, they took a public survey. They mailed a little notice out and we all had a chance to do a public survey just on the parks. So why not in 2019? Why wasn't that the first thing on the timeline? It would still be up here on the whole timeline. Very strange. So then in the part of the timeline that's not showing, the feasibility study was added. But the strange part about the timeline was that that feasibility study wasn't added until the Free Fitzpatrick White River Holding lawsuit was closed in May. No one said a word. It took 6 weeks for the newspaper to find out that the lawsuit was closed. We sat at a vision session with aldermen, not a word that the lawsuit was closed, and then magically appears a feasibility study, which you did get to vote on, for $73,000. One plan commission member had the bravery to realize what was going on and he voted no. But it went to the council and it was decreased to $53,000 at least because they realized they couldn't actually do the bus field trip because of quorum notice. But then that too went away. And suddenly we're in a quandary because now how do we get the developers plan amendment? He's not going through the plan amendment process like the other developers have to. So how do we get it back into the process without him having to file and get it on this timeline for the plan amendment? Well, we came up with a concept map plan. So $30,000. We can just draw 3 maps, and Jackie Mish from Vandewalt admitted that those 3 maps would all require a land use change, that it wasn't going to be as is, as the developer voted on, and he wouldn't have to go through and put his little project on the plan amendment process. So lo and behold, some of the council realized they had been hoodwinked, so they wanted to reconsider the item that is the concept map presentation, and that was a whole mess in itself, and obviously wasn't approved. But at the same time, the funding for the concept map was approved because the city attorney interrupted and let his own personal feelings be known about the funding. So where do we stand? Vandewalt was contracted to do 3 maps. Guess what? They already did 1 map in 2017. We pulled the invoices from 2017 and they did 4 site visits. They already did the work that now the city council paid for. So our question is, why are we having a separate review for Hillmore? If you do have the power to make a motion and pull that item for the working session and the open house, please do that. This is a whole sham and it's making everybody look like fools. Thank you.
Maureen Marks, 834 Dodge Street, Lake Geneva. I'm here to speak about a few things. But beginning will be general. My question is, what is going on with the City of Lake Geneva and the planning and management of important meetings? This Plan Commission agenda has been changed.
March, that's not on the agenda. Do you need it?
The point is, this Plan Commission agenda has been changed 3 times. It appears there's a possibility that staff members are planning to slip some changes through without adequate discussions prior to recommendations. Items on the agenda are too important to be discussed in only one night. This pertains to 7, 8, and 9. 7, 8, and 9. So this was a general statement about 7, 8, and 9 as it appears on the amended agenda, which is the last one I received and the one I just picked up. This is the first time I've heard anything about off-street parking on paved surfaces. I have off-the-street parking. Some of it is paved and some of it just has tiny stones on it. And that is in relationship to the business of the T.C. Smith Historic Inn. Not that we have that much business left, and that pertains to number 9 under review and recommendation. Number 8, review and recommendation to amend the existing wording of the short-term rental ordinance. If we keep following the short-term rental ordinance, we don't have to worry about the T.C. Smith Inn or any of the motels on Wells Street. So a lot of your real estate taxes are going to go up in smoke. Earlier, I brought downtown a copy of some federal things, and I hope you get a chance to read them. Americans strongly support reforming federal law to rein in on illegal short-term rentals. This pertains to Lake Geneva. I have a notebook of different states, cities, Washington, the city of Washington, D.C., Seattle, Washington, New York City, and New York State about how the short-term rentals and the way Airbnb and HomeAway are filing suits against the city so they can continue to get around proper licensing, and it's all in that, and it's very important that you read it. It has nothing to do with me, but a lot to do with short-term rental and all the rentals in the city. And I thank you for listening.